Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, I'm Charlotte. I love reading. My main genre is fantasy, but this year I'm branching out into some different genres, so if you've got any recommendations, I'd love to know if you have any in the comments. So today's video, I've got something really fun. I've seen quite a few creators on booktube do videos like this, and I think it's a really good way to talk about the books I read last year. Last year I read 30 books. Before that I was only reading probably not even one book a year. So in this video, as you can probably tell by the name, I'm going to be tier ranking all of my books that I read last year, ranking them from my absolute favourite, love it with my entire soul books at the top, and then down at the bottom are unfortunate DNFs. But before we get into the tier ranking, I'm going to go over my stats in Goodreads from last year and we'll have a look and see how I did. And then what I'll do is I'll explain each level in my ranks. So just excuse me if I'm looking away and then looking back. I film on my phone at the moment. I don't have a fancy camera yet. So I've got my laptop and I've got my phone filming. So if I'm looking this way, it's because I'm looking at my stats on my laptop on Goodreads. So 2024, my year in books, I read 13,238 pages. I read 30 books. The shortest book that I read was 6 Scorched Roses by Carissa Broadbent. That was 187 pages. And the longest book that I read was A Court of Silver Flames by Sarah J. Maas. That was 751 pages. Last year I read the ACOTAR series for the first time and it was amazing. My average book length in 2024 was 441 pages. 400-page book is a nice number for me. I get intimidated by anything that's 600 plus pages. The most shelved book that I read last year was A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas, and my least shelved was Bitterthorn by Kat Dunn. My average rating for 2024 was 4.3, and I'm going to agree with that because I read some really good books last year. Really good books. But I feel like now that I've read quite a few books and I've got used to reviewing books, I feel like that might change this year. But yeah, we'll see. Highest rated on Goodreads was A Court of Mist and Fury. Again, not surprising. And my first review of the year was A Court of Thorns and Roses. And yeah, really loved that. To say that most people don't like that book, I actually really enjoyed it. Anyway, now it's on to discussing the tiers in my list. So at the top, number ones, 6 stars, Infinity Stars. They are the books I love with my entire soul, my entire being. They are books that I think about daily. They are books that I think about before I go to bed, when I brush my teeth, when I'm making tea, when I'm out for a walk, mid-conversations. Those are the books that I absolutely love and will not take any slander on. The next one is Loved and Would Read Again. So those are books that I loved and would reread and would recommend to anyone. Those were the books that I loved so much. And then under that is thought they were kind of cute. Next one, average, not good but not bad. Yeah, pretty mid books, pretty average books, meh kind of vibe. And the next one is No Thoughts or Feelings Here. Honestly, those are the books where I just think I don't even know what to think. No emotions, don't really care about them. I just don't have a lot to say really on those ones. And then yeah, next one is Not For Me, did not enjoy at all. These are the books where I should have DNF'd but didn't. I just powered through and I just closed the book and just thought what a waste of time. How disappointing. And then the last one are DNFs. For anyone who doesn't know what DNF means, they are books that you did not finish. You couldn't face carrying on any longer, whether or not it was because of how they made you feel or you were struggling with the writing style, you hated the characters. There's a lot of reasons why you might DNF a book. Those are my tiers. These are how I'm going to be ranking all of my books from last year. I will say that the majority of the books that I read last year are fantasy books. There are a few romances in there. What else is there? Yeah, romances really. I had a few months where I was slumping a bit, so I did read some or some contemporary romance, kind of fiction, cowboy romance sort of stuff. Apart from that, the majority is sci-fi or fantasy. So I'm very excited to rank these. I just want to say, if I rank a book that you really enjoyed that I didn't, just please remember that everyone's got their own opinions, everyone likes different things, and we all love each other here. We're all just sharing opinions and everything is going to be fine. And to be honest, there weren't a lot of books that I didn't like last year, but there are some, and there is one in particular that I know a lot of people love. So that one's going to be a bit scary for me to talk about. So anyway, let's get into it. So I'm just going to start the screen recording. Right, I've started the screen recording. Just bear with me because I've not really done a video like this before. So bear with any technicalities that we may come across. But yeah, so this is my ranking. So as you can see, books I love so much with my entire soul, all the way down to DNF'd. And then these are all the books that I read last year. So they're not in order. I'm just going to kind of go across and then work my way down. I've not put them in order, but I kind of remember when I read them anyway. So without further ado, let's get into it. So starting off with A Dowry of Blood. Okay, so for anyone who doesn't really know what this book is, it's A Dowry of Blood by S.T. Gibson, and it is a book that's written in the form of a farewell love letter from the perspective of Constanta, which is Dracula's first bride. And let me tell you, I read this in February and I absolutely adored this book. The way it hypnotized me and consumed my whole being whilst reading this, it had no right to do that. It had no right. I went into Waterstones randomly one day, never even heard of this book before. I just saw it on the shelf, thought it was really interesting, kind of flicked through and read the first page to see if it was my vibe, and it instantly hooked me. So that is why A Dowry of Blood is going into I love these. I love this with my entire soul. I will recommend this till the cows come home. I absolutely loved this book. So the next one, After the Forest by... I actually can't remember the name. By After the Forest by Kell Woods. Yeah, I read this one on holiday, and it's a retelling. For anyone who doesn't know, it's a retelling of Hansel and Gretel, and this book takes place after the children's book when they're both adults. And it was nice. I enjoyed it. I liked it. It probably isn't a book that I would read again. I liked it. I actually don't really remember a lot, to be honest. That's going to go in I liked it. Kind of thought it was cute. Kind of was like childhood reminiscent kind of thing. And yeah, I did enjoy it, so that can go in there. Now, the next one is Gallant by V E Schwab. I read this one, can't remember when I read it, but this one gave me Coraline vibes. It's really cool. It's about a girl that is an orphan and she can see ghosts. And yeah, I did really like this book. It's my first V E Schwab as well. I've not really read any of their books before. I did enjoy this one, and because it was given like Coraline kind of vibes, I love Coraline. It's one of my favourite movies, and my sister's. That one is also probably going to go in I liked it. I enjoyed it. I liked that one. So the next one is Golden Sun by Pierce Brown. This is a sci-fi book. It's incredible. This series, the first one's Red Rising. This one is the second book, and then the third one is Morning Star. And everyone loves these books. There were so many recommendations for this series last year, and these were kind of the first sort of like sci-fi books that I delved into last year. Thoroughly enjoyed the first one. This one is going to go in loved and would reread, because I definitely would. The next one, A Court of Frost and Starlight. So I actually read this book whilst I was skiing in France last year. Very nice. It's very nice to read this kind of book whilst I was away skiing. I really did like it. But yeah, again, I liked it. Kind of cute. Didn't love it. Just kind of enjoyed it. Not much happens. It's a novella in the ACOTAR series, and it's just wholesome. It's just wholesome vibes. So that's why it can go in kind of cute. Phantasma. So yeah, this one, when did I read it? I think I read it in November. I did read it in November. This book was doing its rounds on Book Talk, and the way that everyone was obsessing over this book, I got complete FOMO. So I ordered it straight away on Amazon, and it's recently just been traditionally published, which is really cool to see, because this book was very unexpected in the best way. The MMC in this book was very unexpected. This book is crazy. It's got trials in it, it's got devils and ghouls and ghosts and monsters and a sexy phantom kind of MMC going on. Yeah, if you haven't read Phantasma yet, you need to go do it. It's a dark fantasy romance, and I had the best time with this, and I absolutely devoured this book, and I think about it daily, and I think about the romance in this daily. So Phantasma can go in I love these with my entire soul. There's A Court of Mist and Fury. I don't think it's going to be a shock, because this one is everyone's favourite book in that series, and I have to agree. And I think about this a lot. The way my whole body got goosebumps when we got to a certain part in this. And this is all going to be spoiler free, by the way, so I'm not going to be talking about any spoilers throughout this video. So yeah, if you've read these books, you'll understand. Hopefully with the way I'm talking about these books, they're going to make you go and want to read them. I love this so much. Oh, just, yeah. When everything starts coming together and things start like linking and you're like, oh my god, ah, yeah. I've just noticed I'm missing a book. I am missing a book. Am I missing a book? Okay, well then, I didn't log one on my Goodreads then, did I? Oh my god, where's Wisteria? Guys, we're just gonna have to pause this a minute. There's a book missing. Crisis. Bear with me. Right, guys, we're back. Honestly, I have no idea what happens there. Have I not logged one on my Goodreads? Was it because I DNF'd one and I forgot to do it? Okay, we'll just carry on. We'll carry on. The next one is, I honestly don't know what's happened. I feel like I've missed one completely off my Goodreads because I DNF'd it. But I'm going to have to go back and have a look at that because all of my stats are wrong. I just went through all of my stats with you all and now they're wrong. Never mind. The show must go on. Next one is Foxglove. If you follow me on Instagram or TikTok, you will know how much I love the Belladonna trilogy. This one is the second one. I loved it and I would reread again. Simple as. Love them both so much. They're up there with my top 5 series that I've ever read so far. And yeah, I would 100% reread those books. The Ashes and the Star-Cursed King. Okay, so this is the second book in the Crowns of Nyaxia series. I read this last April on my Kindle. I'm yet to get a trophy. And yeah, I didn't love it as much as the first one. This one is definitely more character driven and there's a whole lot of character development going on, a bit more politics going on. And I did really love the ending as well. So, but I just love this series anyway. But I don't know, I would probably listen to it on audio or like a graphic audio. And I love the first book. So I would definitely reread the first book. But I don't know. I would need convincing to read the second one. So yeah. We're just gonna stick it there for now. I liked it. It was kinda cute. I wouldn't really say cute, but I kinda enjoyed it. I did enjoy it. I didn't like love it and would absolutely reread it. So that's why it's gonna go in there. Flawless. Yeah. I read this in August because I was in a big fat reading slump. I'd read fantasy for pretty much the whole year up until then and I was burning out. I enjoyed it. I thought it was alright, but just just parts of this just really made me cringe. It just really did. Like all the kind of like smut going on and stuff, and like words being used. Yeah, some of the things I was saying whilst it was all getting a bit raunchy, I was just a bit like, this is just not doing it for me. It's really not doing it for me. It can go in average, but not good, not great. Yeah, I think that's all right in there at the moment. Next one is The Invisible Life of Addie Larue by V E Schwab. All I'm gonna say is please don't come for me, because I know how much everyone loves this book, and for some people it's their absolute favourite book of all time. But I'm going to be honest, I struggled reading this book. I was so excited to read it. Everyone was loving it. I saw it all the time on Instagram, and I read it. And the way that this book, and I know it's supposed to make you feel like this, but the way that this book just made me feel so sad and so depressed. I just found it so difficult to get through this. And I think I just kind of was reading it at the wrong time, because I had a lot going on last year, and I just didn't need to read something like that. And I got to page 300 and I DNF'd it. I closed this and I thought, I can't do it to myself any longer. I found it so slow and sad, and yeah. So yeah, DNF'd. The next one is Lady Macbeth by Ava Reid. Yeah, this was one of my most anticipated reads from last year, purely because I love Shakespeare's Macbeth so much. I loved studying it in English literature at school. I found Lady Macbeth as a character so interesting, and this book was the biggest letdown for me. The biggest letdown of last year for me. I have a lot of issues with this book. Lady Macbeth's character, for one. If you know of Shakespeare's Macbeth, you know how compelling and famous her character is for being unmaternal. She's ruthless. She's hungry for power. She's all of these things that women were not known or never allowed to be. And the way that this book just stripped her of that, and it's almost as if Macbeth and Lady Macbeth's character switched roles. He was how she was supposed to be, and she was like so much younger as well. Lady Macbeth in Shakespeare is supposed to be middle-aged. Lady Macbeth, who is actually Roskilde in Ava Reid's Lady Macbeth, is like a 17-year-old French girl, and she's like timid and shy. And I was like, what the frig? This is not Lady Macbeth. Yeah, that was not for me. Did not enjoy it at all. I pushed through it, I read it. I think if you don't know of Shakespeare's Macbeth, you will really enjoy Ava Reid's version of Lady Macbeth, but I think because of how much I remembered and loved and enjoyed Shakespeare's original Lady Macbeth, I just couldn't get past it. I was like, what have you done to her? Really? What have you done? Belladonna by Adalyn Grace. I've already spoken about Foxglove. I love this book so much. I love it. It's a gothic fantasy. It's spooky. It's got ghosts and ghouls and creepy mansions and stuff like that. So yeah, thoroughly enjoyed it. Would 100% reread and would 100% recommend it to everyone I know. Red Rising, we've already spoken about the second book, so I think it's kind of obvious where this one's going to go. Again, it's going to go in loved and 100% would reread. This book shocked me. The way that this book just kicks off and is quite brutal, something quite upsetting and distressing happens at the start of this, and I was reading it on the beach like, okay, this is kicking off straight away, is it? Okay, so A Court of Wings and Ruin. This book is very political, so it's not going to be for everyone. It's not the same vibe as A Court of Mist and Fury at all, but the way that my heart was ripped out and kind of put back in quite forcefully and then ripped out again, I think is going to go in loved and would 100% reread. The next one is A Court of Silver Flames. Okay, so I think you can kind of see where this is going with the ACOTAR series. I really loved this book. There's a few things that I was kind of a bit like, a few things in this that again niggled me like Flawless did. Certain terminology used, I was just a bit like, ugh, really cringe. But I did love it, and I would reread it, so that can go in there. A Court of Thorns and Roses. Yeah, I did love this, and I would reread it. I really did. A lot of people slander this first book, but I really loved it. It was Beauty and the Beast vibes, and there's a lot of things in this that you kind of have flashbacks of in Aquamath, and I just really loved it. I did really enjoy this first book, and I read it at the start of 2024, and yeah, I just thought it was lovely. Really, really did enjoy it, so that one can go in there. The next one is Evocation by S.T. Gibson. Really, really was not what I was expecting at all. There's one trope in particular that just really I did not agree with at all, and it just turned into arguments between the three main characters. It just, yeah, I just didn't enjoy it, and I should have DNF'd it, but I carried on through it because I was nosy and I wanted to know how it ended and if it got any better. But this was not for me. I did not enjoy it. The next one is Six Scorched Roses by Carissa Broadbent, and if you've watched my first YouTube video, you will know how much I love this book. This is a novella. It's in the Crowns of Nyaxia series, so this comes after Serpent and the Wings of Night and before The Ashes and the Star-Cursed King, and I love the two main characters that we see in this book and their relationship. Everything about this, the story, the plot, the romance, the world, I love this world anyway. This felt like a 400-page book, and it was 187 or whatever it said on my Goodreads, and I just could not believe it. I kept turning the page when I got to the end, and I turned over to the author's acknowledgements. I was like, what? Wait, I need more. This one, I love it with my entire soul. I love them with my entire soul, and I think about them all the time, and I cannot recommend that novella enough. I really can't. The next one, actually, I'm not going to do that one first because that's the second one, so I've done that wrong. I should have done the first ones in the series before, so I'm not going to do that one. I'm going to move on to Forever Interrupted by Taylor Jenkins Reid. She is one of my favourite non-fantasy authors. Taylor writes contemporary fiction. She's written a historical fiction, which is The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. That is one of my favourite books of all time. I love Evelyn so much, to the point that I thought she was real, and I was searching on Google, is Evelyn Hugo real? Like, what happened to her? And she's not. I literally thought she was real. The way that this book, I'm gonna get it, I'm gonna find it, and I'm gonna kind of talk to you because I don't want to butcher what this book was about. So Elsie is the main character. She has a husband called Ben, and basically one day he goes out to get some shopping for her, and he unfortunately is hit by a truck and dies. And then obviously the story goes on from there. Elsie's grief and all of that, and this book flashes from present to past, and you see the way that Ben and Elsie's relationship started and grew and everything that they went through. This book had me sobbing. I was crying so much, and I've done a few little tabs as well of my favourite kind of things that were said in this book. But yeah, I was so unbelievably heartbroken for Elsie's character. I can't recommend this book enough, purely just because of how much it rips your heart out. And if you want a romance book that's going to make you feel all the emotions, laughter, joy, sadness, grief, almost feeling as if you're there with the main character, the way that book had me absolutely sobbing to the point my nose was blocked. And that doesn't normally happen with me reading. It takes a lot for me to get upset, and that's why I love that one with my entire soul. The next one is Where the Dark Stands Still. This is a fantasy. It's inspired by Polish folklore, and this is absolutely beautiful. If you like Howl's Moving Castle vibes, if you like Beauty and the Beast vibes, then I would definitely recommend checking this one out, because yeah, it was beautiful, it was unexpected. I love the main character. There's a sentient kind of castle mansion going on in there. There's very creepy monsters and kind of ghouls in this, and there's an enchanted forest, all of that going on. Really did enjoy it. I'm just not sure if I'm like 100% there with wanting to reread it. So that can go in I liked it, kind of cute. Really nice book, and yeah, just had a wholesome time with that one. It was nice. Next one is The Serpent and the Wings of Night. So shouldn't have spoken about Ashes before, but I did. This book surprised me in the best way. The MMC in this, yeah, I dreamt about these two characters. I love this. I think about it all the time. I love these characters with my entire soul, and I just love Carissa Broadbent's writing so much. That's why that one is going in the top tier. Next one is Bitterthorn. Yeah, this one, Bitterthorn by Kat Dunn. Obi is just wanting to come and say hi. He's crawling around on my desk like, what are you doing, Mom? So this one is a very nice short read, and this one is about a town that, in this town there's a castle and a witch lives in there, and there's an agreement that every 10 years the witch comes down and chooses the next companion. And the main protagonist in this decides that, you know, her life is bleak, she's got nothing going for her, so she will sacrifice herself to be a companion for the witch. I thought it was alright. I did think it was quite slow. It's gonna have to be an average. I was just a bit bored during the middle bit, so yeah, that one's gonna go there. Iron Flame, this one's just gonna have to go in average. This one is very 50-50. There were some parts where I thought it was incredibly slow and I was bored, and then there was other points where I really enjoyed all the action. Fourth Wing is 5-star all the way. Iron Flame is going in average. The next one is The Crimson Moth. I love anything witchy. I'm a crystal girl, I'm a spiritual girly, and The Crimson Moth was just amazing. The magic system in this was really unique and really cool. I loved it, and I 100% would reread it. Yeah. Book Lovers by Emily Henry. Not read any Emily Henry before, so this is my first Hen. I just don't have a lot of thoughts or feelings on it. Yeah, I didn't find this book that exciting. I wasn't that bothered about the characters. I wasn't connecting with the characters. Yeah, I just don't have a lot of thoughts or feelings on it, really. The Fate Inked in Blood by Danielle L. Jensen, is that correct? Danielle L. Jensen, yeah. The premise of this book sounded really good, and it was just a bit average. Not good, but not bad. I was expecting more from it, and yeah. I'm not sure if I'm going to read the second one. Okay, The Shadow of the Gods by John Gwynne. This is my first high fantasy read. Not read high fantasy before. I was quite intimidated by this, but I had that many people recommend it to me as a high fantasy to try. I thought, yeah, why not? Let's get into it. This one has multiple POVs. It's incredibly complex. It's a Norse-inspired fantasy. So it's your Vikings, gods, creatures, giants, anything Viking vibe, it's in there. It's got a full pronunciation guide. It's got a full cast of characters. So amazing. I loved it. I would 100% reread this. It's incredible. And The Hunger of the Gods is going to go alongside next to it, because the cliffhanger that finishes on was jaw-dropping. I need to read the third one. I haven't read the third one yet. Incredible. Really, really, really good. Really, really, really good. If you want to try high fantasy or you haven't read the Bloodsworn Saga yet, it is quite brutal. There's a lot of battles going on. It's a bit graphic, but yeah, it's amazing. And I mean, the front covers are pretty scary, so you can only imagine. It's really good. Starling House, not for me. Did not enjoy it. Was expecting more. But yeah, this book, I think because it was set in modern day, and I don't want that from a fantasy, which is probably why I also didn't really like Addie Larue. And I guess I've kind of left Wisteria best till last, not on purpose, but here we are. If you've watched my first YouTube video, you'll know how I feel about this book. This is my favourite book from last year. Wisteria by Adalyn Grace. This is the third book in the Belladonna trilogy, and I love this book and the characters with my entire soul. I finished this book and I was in tears. I was just so upset to be finished with these characters, and I'm so excited for Holly to come out, which is a novella after Wisteria, so set in the same world. So I'm very, very excited for Holly. The way that this book finishes is so bittersweet. I just cried and cried, and yeah, it just felt like I'd been with a family and then had to leave them all. I was just like, oh. And I'm obsessed with the world anyway. It's like set in the Regency era, but it's gothic and it's spooky and it's just lush. You can probably tell by me smiling how much I love that book, and that one is why it's in my top tier. I love it with my entire soul. I think last year, all in all, was a really good reading year. To say that it was my first year that I set a reading goal. I only DNF'd one. I should have DNF'd 4 really, but yeah, there we are. I obviously quite clearly only read fantasy last year, so this year I have got a few goals of reading different genres, and I'm already hitting that goal very, very well this year, and I'm really excited to see what I can achieve in 2025. I hope you've enjoyed this video. It's actually been really fun. It's been really nice to kind of look back at everything that I read last year. So yeah, I really enjoyed making this video. It was really fun, and I hope you enjoyed it as well. I hope you're having a lovely day, evening or afternoon wherever you are in the world, and yeah, I'll see you in the next video.